This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Vito Chirco here after a Michigan football victory against Rutgers, 35-14. Michigan improves to 6-2 overall, 3-2 in the Big Ten, taking sole possession of fourth place in the Big Ten East over Rutgers. I don't know if people really cared about that coming into the game, but they were fighting for fourth place. And my guest here right now with me is Adam Biggers. Adam, how's it going?
Doing well, Vito. Doing very well.
So, Adam, let's recap the game a little bit and first take a look at Brandon Peters and how well he played. How would you evaluate his play today?
I mean, I think they kept it relatively simple for him, but I mean, 10 completions on 14 attempts, you can't deny that. I mean, I think Brandon looked good. If you look at the situation, I mean, it's got to be tough, coming in, and you were here asking him, what was it like having so many people are clamoring for you, and they want to see Brandon Peters, and there's so much division among the fan base, and at the end of the day, here's just a kid who wants to be the starting quarterback, wants to play. So I thought he was focused and poised. I was impressed. I think he throws a nice ball. I think that touchdown pass to Chris Evans was a nice touch on that. And I want to be careful before we just Brandon Peters, the future. He showed something to work with today. And I think given what we've seen out of Michigan quarterbacks throughout the season, I mean, it's been frustrating, I think, for a lot of Michigan fans and just people in general watching, waiting for this offense to do something. So if you look at it in that light, I think Brandon Peters did well, and I think that he's got a shot. I mean, Jim Harbaugh believes in him, I think, and they gave him the chance today to prove it.
And we can't declare Peters the starting quarterback just yet, and Harbaugh himself wasn't officially ready to do so in the post-game press conference. But obviously, just based on this game against Rutgers, and it was Rutgers, but he looked better than O'Korn. But still a small sample size, to say the least.
Well, exactly, and I think you got to think about this too, Vito. I mean, last week a lot of people were saying give Brandon Peters a shot, going into No, you don't want Brandon Peters in that. I think today, given Rutgers, and I think a lot of us have talked about it, I expected this season to go differently for Michigan in terms of offensive production, but I figured a game like Rutgers late in the season, Rutgers, worst defense in the Big Ten, that we'd see Brandon. I didn't know that we'd see him this amount of time, and then obviously going from Wilton to John kind of throws the whole quarterback situation for a loop. But, I mean, I did expect, if you asked me in the beginning of the season, which game do you expect to see Brandon Peters playing, I would say Rutgers. Now, is he the starter? Like you said, it is too early to tab him immediately. Jim Harbaugh's not. But I have to believe, I think they're probably going to hitch their wagon to Brandon for the rest of the year.
Harbaugh said that in the beginning of this week in the Monday meeting with the team, he told the team that he would play and play early.
Right, yeah, and it sounds like play early. It doesn't matter what the scenario was. I figured if they were up big, halftime, maybe see him come in, play the end of the third quarter and play the fourth quarter. But when Harbaugh said that he was going to come in and play early, then that shows, look, there was a plan regardless. Brandon was coming in. Doesn't matter if they're up 28-0 or if it's a tie game. So I don't think there's anybody who debates that Brandon has the arm strength, that he's got the talent. I think a lot of it was, can he command the offense? The vocal stuff that Jim Harbaugh had mentioned during Big Ten Media Days in Chicago, that Brandon just wasn't that vocal. Devin Bush had just mentioned, today just got done talking with him, that he'd say, hey, Brandon, I can't hear you, trying to get him going in practice. So there's little things. The one question I do have, they describe Brandon as, real calm, cool, collected, doesn't show any emotion. That can be good at some time, but I think at some point, too, you do want your quarterback to have that emotional fire, too. So a lot to read in, a lot to, kind of digest here. We saw a little glimpse of Brandon Peters. I'm guessing that we'll probably see more of him next week.
Now, moving on to the ground game, you had two running backs that had over 100 yards in this one, Ty Isaac and Karan Higdon. How would you describe what they did and how they helped out a young passer in Brandon Peters to feel comfortable, too, in the pocket?
Well, it helps. If you have a reliable ground game, that's got to give the quarterback a little sense of stability. Again, he only threw 14 passes during this game. So, yeah, I thought Ty and Karan were excellent. Karan, obviously, with the big, he's had a 36, a 40, a 59, and then today a 49-yard. Karan's shown that he's got the big play potential. Ty Isaac, I'm still kind of worried sometimes when I watch Ty Isaac hold the ball. I'm wondering if it's going to get stripped. But, I mean, Ty is shown to be that power guy, could pick up those tough yards. I think, again, you got to kind of keep it in context. It was against Rutgers, but I think Michigan's offense showed some balance today, and it's what they've been looking for all year.
And what are your thoughts going into the next game against Minnesota?
I mean, it's going to be a night game, so, I mean, it's going to be different for Brandon. It's I'll probably start thinking about it more come, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Every game up until, after Penn State, next three were winnable. You know, and then I think they got to get their stuff together if they think they're even going to go to Wisconsin and hang with the Badgers.
Question is this team really good enough to beat Wisconsin and Ohio State?
No offense to speak of. You know, we can't really extrapolate too much from this Rutgers game. No offense to speak of. Ohio State's got a ton of offense. Ohio State's got good defense. Going on the road to Wisconsin, I mean, to me, Michigan just hasn't proven to me that it can win a big game. So I say no. Is there a chance? I mean, there's always a chance, right? But I mean, as of right now, I don't see Michigan. I don't see, and these were games I figured would be losses at the beginning of the year. I figured Michigan would be 9-3 this year. And Ohio State was a loss. I was pretty set that Penn State was a loss. 50-50 on Wisconsin.
So really just MSU was a surprising game, and how bad Michigan played in that game too for you?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, if you think of it, I mean, really, that's a winnable game. 5 turnovers, 3 interceptions. You only lose by 4 points, and plus you got to battle all this hellacious weather. So yeah, I expected Michigan to roll into Penn State at 6-0, and then their first loss of the season would be at Penn State.
Still too much to expect of U of M to beat Wisconsin, to beat Ohio State, and it's because of the suspect play from Michigan up to this point in the season.
Well, especially the offense. I mean, you got to score some points. So I mean, they have a good enough defense to hang with anybody. Do they have a good enough offense to hang with anybody? And no, they don't. Not right now.
And that has been Adam Biggers. Thank you much, Adam. And we'll see you again next week too. Here's what sophomore Viper Khaleke Hudson had to offer to me regarding the defensive play this afternoon against Rutgers and also the play of Brandon Peters. How would you evaluate the play of the defense?
I feel that we played very well. You know, I feel we could always play better, but I just feel overall that we played well and we played Michigan football.
How do you think Brandon did?
I feel that he did great. You know, just coming in his first start, he was poised back there. You know, he was throwing the ball well, and he just helped us out to get the win.
What was the game plan going into this week, trying to stop Rutgers, trying to stop their quarterback Gio Resigno? What was the game plan?
The game plan was basically just play Michigan football. You know, we got gashed for a couple runs last week against Penn State, and we knew that Rutgers was going to come in and try to, do the same plays or like close to the same play. So basically just want to fix the plays we messed up last week this week.
Do you think the defense stabilized itself after that tough week against Penn State?
Yeah, I feel that, we came in the next week, reacted the way we wanted to, and ultimately getting the win. So, that's always a good thing coming off a loss.
All right, and this is Vito Chirco signing off for the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.